This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we are going to start a course, okay, where people can see the actual end-to-end performance testing. Okay, how we kick off a project, how we deliver all the performance testing related things. Okay, how we collect non-functional requirements for performance testing. Okay, and how we can design workload model, what is baseline, what is benchmark, and how we are going to design it. So all these things we will be covering in these sessions. So let me share my screen. Then we'll go through the course contents and what are the benefits we are going to get from these training sessions and who are the intended audience for that. I hope everyone can see my screen. So this is the course we designed and these all are the course contents for this training. Okay. So first of all, we'll discuss who the target audience is and what are the benefits we will be getting from these course, and we'll see what is and more. Okay, so first thing is the people, okay, who are students or who are searching jobs in performance testing area with a real-time exposure, they can attend these trainings. And also manual testers or developers who has a performance testing knowledge and also they possess some knowledge about any performance testing tool like LoadRunner, JMeter, Load, and they want to switch into performance testing job. And also guys who want to have real-time experience. Okay, how performance testing projects happen. Okay, what are the phases of performance testing? How we interact with different team, when which deliver is scheduled for which phase. Okay, so all these things who want to experience in practical, they can attend this training, and also the performance test managers. Okay, so we'll start with the introduction of course. This is now we're covering. Okay, so from the course introduction also we have seen who are the benefited audience for this. Next, the tools that we will be using. Actually, we will not be covering any of the tool in detail, but the most of the things that we will be covering, and for performance testing part, we will be using JMeter. For analysis part, Enmon will be there, and for designing workload model, we will be using Splunk. Okay. Then we will see in NFR phase, we will see the introduction of non-functional requirements. Okay, what is non-functional requirements? We will understand how we are going to abstract it. Okay, what kind of questions we can ask during kickoff meetings? Okay, so performance test requirements from performance testing side that we will see, and the performance test requirement from performance monitoring side that we will see. Okay, so we will be using Splunk dashboard just now discussed to design workload model. Okay, and also we will see how volumetrics can be extracted, how user load is distributed, and also how we can design workload model for load testing, stress testing, and endurance testing. That we will see and we will be doing in a practical way. So we will be having some script, then we will be executing the script, we will be collecting the result, and then we will see how result is shared with client, with the stakeholders, and what are the points that we have to highlight. Okay. In the application part, we will see application domain. Actually, when we talk about performance testing and performance engineering, the first thing comes application and application domain. Okay, so we will understand application domain. We will see the different business scenarios of application. Okay, and the same time we will understand the architecture of the application and what are the different types of architecture. Okay, so like there are 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier, multi-tier architecture are available. So we will see our application architecture, then we will understand on which part we will be doing testing and on which part we will be doing monitoring. Okay, so Isha Training Solutions has designed this application for performance testing and engineering perspective. Okay, so this will be our application. Okay, there are some functionalities. Okay, so these are nothing but our business flow. Search box is given. Okay, this is the merchant tab where you can register new merchant. Okay, and you can design some rules in fees and taxes. You can give the fees and also the group. Okay, so these are nothing but our business scenario and also the logout functionality. Okay, so we will understand the application in detail when we will be in the application part. And after understanding the application and the application domain, okay, we will be landing into design phase. So in design phase, we understand performance test life cycle. Okay, like we are from IT, so we understand the software developmental life cycle and software test life cycle. In the same way, we have performance test life cycle that is parallel to STLC. We will understand different phases of PTLC and what deliverables and what kind of things we do in PTLC. And also we'll be seeing test plan. Okay, we understand what is test plan. Okay, then we see what are the different key elements of test plan, what we have to include in test plan. Okay, so the test plan will contain all the phases, all the activities for performance testing and for performance engineering activities. Okay, so this phase basically for the people who are managers in performance test area or who are leading a performance testing team. Okay, then we will see BFD. BFD, business flow document, is a part of designing. And what business flow document is? It is a document that contains all the transactional steps of a scenario. Okay, so that we will see how we have to create a business flow document. What are the steps? What are the screenshots we have to put? Okay, so a business flow document. So it will be like the if we talk about manual testing. Okay, so we have test steps like test step 1. launching the website, then we hit URL and we get landing page. In the same way, the landing page is a scenario for us. Okay, so we have to hit the site and whatever page we are getting, that is the expected for us. So these transaction steps we have to mention in business flow document. And why business flow document is important in performance testing? It is why because we put a transaction name in business flow document and the same transactions we have to design in our performance test script. Okay. Okay, once we will complete the designing phase, then we will be landing into JMeter. Okay, so in JMeter part, we will cover the introduction of JMeter. What is a JMeter and what are the uses of JMeter, and also the tools like tool finalization. Okay, so we will understand once the performance testing is kicked off, then on what basis we can finalize it, because there are a lot of tools in market and we have to choose which tool is beneficial for our project. So all the key parameters, all the POC part, we will see how we are going to finalizing the tool for our project. Then we will understand why JMeter. Okay. So we will be preparing a comparison sheet. We'll take different tools like LoadRunner, Load, JMeter. Then we'll collect all the points from all the tools and we prepare a comparison study. And based on the study, we will finalize why JMeter. Okay, once our tool will be finalized, then we'll configure the tool in our machines. Okay, so what are the prerequisites for JMeter, how we can configure JMeter, everything that we will see in this part. And also from this point, we will also start collecting information from challenges that we see during JMeter scripting. Because once we go for an interview, okay, so this is a very popular question. What are the challenges facing? What are the challenges people face in JMeter? And what are the recommendations? Okay, what is the most challenging script you worked on? So these questions come in interview. So from here, we start a JMeter part, we start working on scripting, okay, and also we start understanding the challenges, the recommendations, the complex scripts from JMeter. And after that, based from this website, okay, just enough thing. From this website, we design some business flow document, and after that, we will start working on script development. Okay, so script development is not simple like recording a script in JMeter and executing it. And in script development, we will see what are the naming convention for transactions. Okay, because that should be in the sync with business flow document. Okay, so how we can refer business flow document to understand these steps for performance testing, for transaction name, for expected behavior. Okay, so all the things that we will see here. Okay. And once our script will be completed, we will be doing some dry run sessions. Okay, so in dry run sessions, again, we will see the scripting challenges, dry run challenges. Okay, how dry run can be done. Sometimes what we have to do, sometimes we have to write something into an Excel file or into a notepad. And sometimes we have to print something on console. Okay, so that we will do here. Okay, so once our script is ready, okay, then we will be in the execution phase. So in execution phase, again, we will create a workload model based on the available data for load testing. Okay, so we will see what is load testing, how workload model can be designed for load testing, and also how we can implement the think time and the pacing and the number of iterations so we can calculate progress from load model. Also, we'll see how the principle of Little's law is applied to create a workload model. Okay, once our script is ready, workload model is ready, think time, pacing, iteration, number of users, everything is in place. Then we will start execution of this. Okay, so once the script is being executed, then we will do the runtime monitoring. Okay, so how our application is behaving. Okay, so and how uh, and one is abstracting the collections from server. Okay, and also we will see the monitoring in JMeter. Okay, so we will see how server and the memory consumption is happening, how server is behaving when load testing is happening, because there are a number of users accessing the site simultaneously. Okay, so once load test is done, we will prepare the report for load test execution. Okay, there are basically two kind of reports we can prepare. One is manual, and the other one is JMeter dashboard report. Okay, so before starting this reporting, before start understanding reporting, so can I ask if we have any question? Okay, am I audible? I guess Dhanashri is trying to say something. Yes, Dhanashri. Okay, silence means not very. So we can continue with the part. Okay, so once this load testing is done, okay, then we will be preparing a report. Okay, so report. So first we understand what is performance test execution report and what we have to include in that report. Okay, so performance test report is not like just extracting response time, user load, transaction name, and sharing with the stakeholder. No. Okay, performance test report is totally based on our understanding, our analysis, our assumptions. Okay, then we will see what are the assumptions we have made, what are the observation and what kind of observations we will be doing. Okay, and what are the report extracted from JMeter, and based on all these, we will create a JMeter execution report. Okay, so your JMeter execution report will look like this. Let me open this. Okay, this report was created for a client. Okay, So for this report, we have taken transaction name, number of requests, average response time, 90% line, minimum response time, maximum response time, error percentage, and the throughput. It's a percentage. Okay. So this report was created for a load test executed for the client. Okay. So here we see we had a targeted 100 requests per hour. Okay. So we could achieve the target. Okay. So number of requests sent in 1 hour for per transaction is 100. Okay. That we have to mention. Average response time per transaction. Okay. We see 1368 milliseconds for launch. Okay, 1426 milliseconds for before login. Okay, when login button appears and we just put we click on login, and after that we have to provide our credentials, then again we click on the login. Okay, so this is the response time we received, so we mentioned it 90%. Okay, this is a very important thing, 90% or 95%, right? That we have to mention in our report. Okay, based on the sign off provided from client. Okay, so we will see, okay, what are the key elements of a report and why we include these elements in our report only. Then we will see minimum response time and the maximum response time. Okay, so we will have one idea about how our application is behaving. Okay, then error percentage, if any error we see, then the percentage and error description will be a part of the report. And after that, throughput, hits per second. Okay, hits per second on the application. Per transaction, we will manage. Okay, once this report is ready, we will share this report with the stakeholders. Okay, we have received some questions. Okay, Anil Kumar has asked what tool we will use for monitoring JMeter request and the response and the server metrics. Okay, so Anil, for JMeter request and the response capture, we will be using JMeter only. Okay, JMeter is standalone application, not JMeter Performon agent. Okay, but for server metrics, if we talk, we say CPU utilization, memory utilization, network bandwidth. So we will be using N1 utility for that. Okay, because there are two reasons. N1 is popular nowadays in market, and second thing is we have a Unix system. Okay, so N1 is compatible for that, and it will give us a very good results. So for N1, we will see how we will be capturing N1 statistics. Okay, then how we will be creating N1 report. Okay, and once N1 report is created, how we will be analyzing the reports. That part we will cover. Dhanasri has a question regarding WMA, LM, workload modeling. What are the minimum parameters we use to calculate? Because in many interviews, they are asking to calculate based by giving TPH and number of scripts. Please help me to understand in advance. Okay. Yeah, Dhanasri, that is a good question. Okay. And yeah, for now, I can say once you have received everything, okay, like transaction per hour, okay, the number of transactions per script, and the number of users. So based on number of users and the transaction per hour, you can identify the iteration per hour. Okay, and iteration per hour per user. When you have this, you can simply go and divide the entire text execution duration by this number. You'll get the AC. Okay, And once we will be in the WLM phase, we will see this in very detail. Okay, because WLM, different companies follow different kind of WLM. Okay, but there is some standard process. So we will understand that. Okay, like iteration based workload modeling, time based workload modeling, and lateral flow based workload modeling. So we will cover all these. I hope I could answer you. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, so we understood what are the this elements of test execution report, and this is a WLM looks like. Okay, so we have number of users, we have transaction name, we have iteration, we have ramp up. Okay, then we have think time and the throughput. So based on that, we can identify the pace. Okay, so once this is done, let me open our Excel again. Once a script execution is done, once our report is prepared, manual report, okay, then we will go to our server. Okay, we will log into the server. Okay, then we will extract N1 utility for our test execution duration. Okay, so usually what happens in organization, we don't have access to the server. Okay, so our operation team provides the log, N1 log or server log. So we will understand if the server log is provided for entire day, how we can create N1 reports based on the log. Okay, then how we can filter the transactions, filter the server log or CPU or memory utilization for the test execution hours. That we will see. Okay, once we have JMeter report ready, once we have unknown report ready, then we will start preparing test execution summary report. Okay, so there is a template that we will share with you guys. So the template will include what is the test type, okay, what was the target user, what was the target throughput, what is the achieved throughput, okay, and also the transactions with the response time, okay. So we'll include this report also in that. Sorry, this is the word WLM. We will include this report in our test execution summary report, and also we will put the we will put our observations and the graphs also. Okay, so how we will create a graph, that I'll show. Okay, once the load test is done, our report is prepared. So we'll share this report. Okay, and also we'll prepare a JMeter dashboard report. Okay, let me open one sample report for you. Okay, guys. So this is our JMeter dashboard report. Okay, that is generated through report.jtl that we create for JMeter execution. Okay. So we will understand how we will be sharing this report and what are the elements of this report. Like we see this is 100% pass. Okay, there is no error. Okay, we see the transactions, the requests, everything here, like total number of samples executed in an hour, error percentage, average response time, minimum time, maximum response time, 90, 97, 99 percentile, TPS, and the network KDPs. Okay, so that we will see and what kind of graph we have to paste in our test summary execution. The text execution summary report. Okay, like this response time over time. It will show you what is the behavior of application during the execution. Okay. Also you'll see response time percentile over time. Okay. So we will analyze all these graphs, all the reports. Okay. Then we'll include observation and we'll put all our observation analysis in the test execution summary report. Then we'll share the report with the stakeholders. Okay. The latency. Okay. The connect time over time. Everything we will include. Okay. Also will include some graphs from throughput like hits per second. It will give you an idea about your load model, your application. Okay. And the transactions per second are happening. Okay. Total transactions per second. All these things we will include. Okay. We have a response time graphs also. Response time percentile we have time versus thread. Okay, we have response time overview. So all these things we will analyze, then we will add in our summary report. Okay, then only we share the report with the stakeholder, with project manager, okay, or and users who are involved in performance testing. Okay, so once load testing is done, okay, now just let me tell you one more thing. This execution is a very practical execution. You guys will be doing it. Okay, you guys will be monitoring it, okay, and you will be collecting the enmon logs. Okay, the same thing we'll do here for a stress testing. Okay, so for a stress testing, again we will design load model for a stress testing. Again, we'll update script. Then we'll do all the things like correlation, parameter addition if required. Then again, we'll execute it. We'll do the same. We'll do monitoring through JMeter. We'll do monitoring through, and then again, we prepare a report for this. Okay. So we have to understand difference between load and stress. Like load is going to happen with 100 users for 1 hour. Okay, in the same way, stress test is going to be double for the same hour. Okay, because our motive behind the stress testing is to identify the threshold for application. Okay, once load test is done, your stress test is done, the final test will be executed with endurance test. Okay, so again, we will update workload model for endurance test, then we'll execute it, and the same mechanism we will be following for monitoring Anmon and the JMeter. Then we'll prepare the report. Okay, and after that, you see one more thing, test the closure report. Okay, so we have to understand what is test closure report. Okay, what are the key elements of test closure report? Okay, so we'll prepare this report and we'll share the report with you. Okay, but you have to understand when to share this. Okay, once all the stakeholders are in this acceptance that your application is good, all the transactions are meeting SLAs, okay, then we'll prepare a closure report. So whatever activities we are doing in performance test life cycle, everything will be mentioned in closure report. Okay, whatever things you have done for performance testing, everything you have to mention in closure report. Okay. If you're doing performance engineering like tuning your J2EE applications or Oracle like database, that part you have to mention. Okay. So once this is done, your PTLC is completed. Okay. So here, once you're on this step, your all the performance test lifecycle related activities are done. Okay. Now your application is good to move on production. Okay, so this was all about the PTLC. Okay, and also yes, we have some additional topics like the scripting challenges in JMeter. Okay, that we discussed a moment back also. So let me tell you what we'll be doing in this part. First thing, the use case one, that is authorization through token. Okay, nowadays application are not as they were previously. Okay, nowadays applications are more secure. Okay, so they add different tokens like JWT, like OAuth, like SAML. Okay, so we will see how we can handle this kind of authorization. Okay, how we will be capturing it. That is a part of correlation. Okay, but once you go for an interview, okay, the question comes: what are the challenges you have faced during JMeter execution, JMeter script preparation? Okay, so this use case is one of them. Authorization handling the token in JMeter. Okay. Because sometimes we have to write a custom script in Bean Shell, in Groovy, in Java. Okay, whatever language you prefer, you have to write custom code in that. Okay. Second thing is handling day time through Java. Okay. Actually, JMeter has a limitations with inbuilt functions. Okay. So like if you have some special requirement that cannot be fulfilled by JMeter inbuilt function, then what you have to do, you have to write a custom code. Okay. So there is a element Bunchen sampler in JMeter. So you have to write a code to handle like date, day or time. Okay, then you have to store this value in some variable. Okay, the variable will be passed into JMeter body, request body, JMeter request URL and headers. Okay, I'll show you where we have to write this and how we can use it. Okay, third most challenging thing is use of double underscore v function. Okay, because this function is used for concatenation of two different parameter file. Like your first name is coming from some other CSV and your last name is coming from some other CSV. JMeter doesn't have any utility to concatenate this. Okay, so for this purpose, we have to use double underscore v function. Okay. And during JMeter execution, most of the time we see array index out of bound. Okay, that means heap issue. Okay, heap issue is means JMeter needs more heap. Okay, but we have given it a very limited heap. Okay, like JMeter requirement is to have a 4 GB RAM, 4 GB JVM, and we give a 2 GB. What it will do? It will give you heap issue. Okay, so it will come as a array index out of bond. Okay, it is nothing but a example of memory deadlock. Okay, we call it memory leakage. Okay, then we'll see master slave configuration. Okay, how we do it. Okay, and what are the challenges involved in this? Sometimes JMeter master machine doesn't communicate directly with JMeter slave machine, so we have to give slave machine IP address to master and master machine IP address to slave on runtime. Okay, then we'll see how we can define pacing in JMeter. Okay, because JMeter doesn't have any mechanism to define pacing like LoadRunner or near load. So we have to do some Groovy scripting. We have to use some timer to define the pacing. Okay, once this thing will be covered, okay, so in parallel we'll be seeing interview preparation topic. Okay, with every topic we'll see what are the interview questions are coming from. We'll cover that part. Okay, we will prepare a list of all the questions based on our this course and the 20 performance testing. Okay, so we'll prepare a list of that. We'll prepare a list of all the performance questions from JMeter. Okay, and interview questions on your experience in project execution. Because this is not a simple code, this is a end-to-end project execution for performance testing. So what questions are coming from this course? We'll list out and we'll discuss. Okay. Okay, so we have seen what other things we'll be doing. Okay, so any questions?
Um, only one application will be covered as a real-time project, right, in this course?
Yes, Kaveri. We'll be covering only one application and all the things we'll be covering through that application only, like application monitoring, okay, transaction preparation, script development, workload modeling, everything will be done with that application.
Okay.
Oh, okay, Kaveri, is the question, is this course suitable if someone knows to JMeter? Yes. Okay. Actually, we'll be seeing how we are going to use JMeter and what part is going to be handled by JMeter. That we will cover. But entire JMeter course, okay, entire JMeter course, it is not that one. Can we show the process of how to connect a mobile application for testing using JMeter? Actually, this topic purposefully we have not included in this course content because we have separate sessions for that. Okay, but if time will permit, then definitely at least we can see how we can recording this mobile application with JMeter. Okay, but if time will permit, then only. Will you cover JMeter in FluxDB Grafana setup? No. Actually, we have a separate batch for that. So for this course, we will not be covering this part. Sushant, is a question. In JMeter, do we have to do recording of a script always? No, Sushant. You have to record the script once. Okay. If there is no changes from application side, then you can use the same script for load, stress, endurance, and all kind of performance test application. Okay, Anil Kumar, should we write custom code for script? Yes, we should. But if it is a requirement for this script, okay, I'll show you this thing now. Okay, where you have to write this. Just let me open the JMeter. If I'm just about to show you where we have to write custom code and what is the use of that. Let me open JMeter. Okay. So remember, we just discussed about topic, about a topic like authorization handling. Okay. So this is that thing. Once the token is coming into response, we have to capture it and we have to pass for the next request, and only the authorization part will be done. It is nothing but a simple correlation for JMeter, but we have to identify which token is useful. Okay, and where we have to pass it. And also you will see this, okay, the transaction name. Okay, so we have to follow this naming convention all the time. Okay, so it varies based on organizations, based on projects, but this is a very standard process. Okay, we can say we can follow this. So it is like first the test step and test step number, then your application name and your transaction name. Okay. So for this transaction, I'm just going to launch application. So I just put it like this, step one, maternity history and launch. Okay, and okay, I was talking about this custom code. Okay, is it visible to you?
Yes, yes, it is big well.
Okay. So actually, the requirement was from application like we have to take this date and we have to go previous date and sometimes in the future date. Okay, then we have to take the date to put that data into some field in JMeter. Okay, so
Okay, okay, sir.
yeah. So what I have done, I just prepared this script to handle the date. So, yeah, if you're not speaking, can you please go on mute? Okay, so what I have done, I have just taken new date and older date, and okay, and I just calculate the date, age, okay, age of a candidate, because the scenario was like if someone is 33 years old, okay, only date of birth is given, then we have to calculate this. The guy is of 33 years now, and we have to put the date into the field. The reason is the day the age field was disabled, so we could not parameterize it. Okay, so whenever we see some automatic calculation is coming from server, okay, and that is disabled for us, we cannot update it, so we cannot parameterize it, right? And we cannot parameterize it, so we have to pass something at a runtime. Okay, so just for that requirement, we designed the system and we pass the date. Okay, and also sometimes what we have to do, we have to write I'm extracting something from the server response, like someone has logged in, okay, and his name is appearing on top of the page. Then we have to validate if the name is coming or not. So we will just put a simple regular expression extractor as a post processor, and will fetch the name and will write the name into a notepad or Excel. Okay. And also like when we start execution, okay, we just discussed it. JTL file should be there. Okay, once the JTL is available, then only we can create a JMeter dashboard. So we can give the JTL file name like this. Okay, so once this JTL will be available after execution, we just execute one command and the dashboard report will be available. And dashboard report is nothing but this HTML report. Okay, so that's all about for today from my side. So we covered what we are going to uh, learn in this course, and what are the course content, and what are the different tools we'll be interacting with, where we have to use that tool, and what kind of different load tests we will execute, how we will be preparing execution report. We'll see a baseline benchmark and a designing of the load model. Okay, this everything will cover how we will be going to use this. Okay, so yeah, if any query, please let me know. Okay, what questions we can ask for developers when we are testing for web services, especially XML? Okay, when we are testing web services, we can ask a question like, what are the threshold? Okay, what are the different response codes they are using? Okay, what are the input and expected output? Okay, request payload, response payload, test data. Okay, where it is available, what is the maximum thread pool, DB connection pool size, okay, and request header, request body, okay, these all questions we can ask, okay, but that is a part of NFR. And what will be the training duration and the timing? Okay, for Indian students, it is going to happen Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay, and it is going to take around 25 to 30 hours uh, to get it completed. Okay, there is a question. Can we test the mobile application using JMeter? Yes, we can test the mobile application using JMeter. Okay, but that will not going to cover in this course. Let me check if some question left unanswered. I guess all the questions are answered. Okay, so okay, if no question is coming, when the question is coming, so we can wrap up the session for the day and hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.